You're welcome back, and this is TV3 New Day. Thank you so much for staying with us. And if you just joined us, good morning to you. Share the message out there. Let them know that we're streaming live on Facebook as well at TV3 Ghana. You can also watch us on DSTV channel 279. The hashtag is TV3 New Day. And as we continue with our conversation, don't forget to also play the game so you can also cash out. Star 439 hash, select option 2, which represents TV3, because it'll give you a list of the channels that operate under Media General. Choose number 2, TV3, and just relax and allow yourself to win some 1,000 Ghana cedis before the end of the show. 4 of you are going to win that, so that's 4,000 Ghana cedis going out this morning. A part of it could be yours. So remember to play the game star 439 hash, select option 2, and win. Well, this morning, as usual, it's a Thursday morning, and so it's time for our ladies to take center stage. And I have in the studios Aisha Alasan. She's a member of the NDC Communications team, looking great in black this morning. How are you doing?
I'm good.
It's good to have you in the studios. Has it been a good week?
It has. It has. Health-wise, it has. Financially, no.
I see. Sorry about that.
Thank
But I'm sure you'll be fine. We'll figure it out.
Hopefully.
We'll figure it out. Also joining us this morning is the General Secretary of the CPP. Of course, she's here every Thursday morning, Nanaya Achimpim Jantua. Good morning.
Good morning, Bella.
How are you doing as well?
You know how the system is like. It's not easy, but what we for do?
What we for do, it will get better, we hope. We hope.
Faith.
Faith, yes. We're
That's
operating by faith.
That's the only thing we have.
That's all we have. But you don't think things will get better?
It's faith. Once you have the faith, then you know God will come through. But as it stands, I don't think that we are heading anywhere.
Hey, all right. Well, let me quickly cross over to the phone lines and speak to the Minister for Agriculture, Honorable Brian A. Champong. And he just wants to comment on the issue concerning cocoa and the recent price hike. But quickly before that, so President Akufo-Addo has announced more than 60% hike in cocoa prices for this year's cocoa season. And that's translating to 1,308 Ghana cedis per bag. So it says that cocoa prices have increased, had increased from 7,600 Ghana cedis per ton in 2016 to 12,800 Ghana cedis per ton in 2022, a substantial increase of 68%. Adding that government had further raised cocoa prices from 12,800 Ghana cedis per ton to 20,943 Ghana cedis per ton, equivalent to 1,308. But if you look at the market value, it says here that the market price of cocoa has reached a 46-year record high of $3,600. And the NDC and former President John Dramani Mahama is saying that if you look at that figure, then government should have provided cocoa farmers with a more equitable share of the international FOB price. Let me cross over now to the Minister. Hello, Mr. Brian Champong. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Bella.
Thank you so much for joining us, and I hope you're well.
Could be better.
Okay.
Could be better if the facts were put out right.
Okay, so what is it you want to correct? Give us the details.
Well, I think earlier on, before you went on a break, you did make a categorical statement that the government, in effect, has not been fair to cocoa farmers, and that the world market price of cocoa was $3,600.
Okay.
And $3,600, and then government was paying cocoa farmers $1,300.
No,
Now,
not dollars,
that is
cedis.
not the fact.
Okay.
Yes.
So what is the fact?
The facts are that what the world market price is today is not and has never been what is paid farmers.
Okay.
What the world market price is today is the forecast that will be used to pay farmers next cocoa season. So the price that is being paid cocoa farmers today, because cocoa is based on a forward sale, and therefore the achieved price of last year, which was $2,200, plus the living income differential of $400, making it $2,600, is what was achieved last year. And with what was achieved, cocoa farmers are getting $1,800 plus, equivalent to 70.3% of what the net FOB, the gross FOB price is.
Okay.
So you cannot base what is being given to cocoa farmers on the current world world pricing of cocoa.
Okay.
Next year, because the current cocoa contracts are being sold based on the current world market price, next year, cocoa season, farmers will realize what the current world cocoa price is.
Okay.
And that has been the standard from day one. Any and everybody in the cocoa industry, including especially the cocoa farmers, know and understand this. So any propaganda to compare what has been paid to them vis-a-vis what the current world market prices is a clear case of the lack of understanding of the facts.
Okay.
And that was what was put out by yourself, and I deem that we have to correct it.
Well, we were commenting on that based on the forward pricing, because we do understand that when it comes to the pricing of cocoa as well, of course, it is negotiated even before it is ready, for sale.
That's
and
correct.
so that's why we were saying that even at that time, whatever price that has been paid to them, if you look at the current rate now, it's still pretty lower than the current
you can't
rate.
compare that, because at the time that the cocoa contracts were being negotiated, this current price was not a factor.
Okay.
At the time, the cocoa price was $2,200.
Okay.
That was the average world market price at the time, $2,200. And then we added the living income differential of $400 at the time, making it $2,600.
Okay.
All the cocoa board contracts that has been sold, that is the value
Okay.
of it. Of that,
Okay.
farmers have been paid 70.3% next year. When we are talking about cocoa pricing, we'll be referring to the current world market price. And definitely, cocoa farmers will be getting a lot more for their buck.
Now,
than they're
let
getting
me give
now.
a quick example before you go, and we'll make this very quick. Now, let's talk about even oil sale, for example. Now, there's a price hedging, kind of mechanism that is used as well. And so you look at the price, or you forecast the price at the price that it will be sold maybe in the near future, and that's how you sell it. So if that price, if it goes lower, then you make some profit. If the price of oil goes higher, then you may be making a loss, which is what we were trying to pair with what is happening in the cocoa industry
but
as well.
Do you know what happens in maize? Do you know how silver is traded?
Okay,
Do
tell
you know
us.
how bauxite is traded? So you cannot just go and say there's a difference between gold and oil.
Okay,
They are not traded on the same platforms.
all right.
The mechanics for oil and the mechanics for gold and the mechanics for cocoa are completely different.
Okay, all right.
It's not a like-for-like matter.
Thank you so much for your time this morning, Mr. Brian Acheampong. It's been a pleasure speaking to you. That's the Minister for Agric. I'll just go to Aisha briefly to speak on this, because, again, if you look at what former President John Dramani is saying, he's also complaining that this price is not in favor of the regular cocoa farmer, because he says that, it's not more equitable share of the international FOB price for the local farmer. Why is he saying that? And based on what Mr. Brian Acheampong has said, is that a fair argument to make then?
You see, Bella, anyway, good morning to your cherished viewers. Bella, there is a saying that truth is one. So the moment we start get conflicting figures, then we have a cause to believe that there is something fishy going on as far as this cocoa issue is concerned. The president told us that he has increased the cocoa price at 70.5% for the cocoa farmer. Then we have the CEO of Cocoa Board also telling us that the price of cocoa per bag has been increased by 70.05. Is that 70.03? The president said 70.05, and the CEO of Cocoa Board is telling us 70.03. Now, if you do the calculation, 70.03 per the Cocoa Board CEO's calculation is going to give us about $1,820. It's going to give us about $1,820 per bag. Now, at 11.3, we are using the interbank rate at 11.3. It will give us $1,820 Ghana cedis. Now, the president is telling us that he has increased it by 11.5. That is also going to give us it's going to give us, okay, so let me use the per ton, $20,085. 20,085 Ghana cedis per ton.
Okay.
And the CEO Cocoa Board is telling us that he has increased it for the farmers at 20,000. Kindly give me the permission to refer to my notes.
Okay.
Because I want to get the figures clear.
Okay.
Yes. So the CEO is telling us that he has increased it by 20,085 Ghana cedis per ton. While the president is telling us that he has increased it by 20,218 per ton. Okay. That means per bag, the president is getting 1,264 for the cocoa farmers, while the CEO is giving them 1,255 per bag, if you do the calculation. So which one are we believing? Truth, they say, is one. So if the president comes to tell us that he has increased it by 70.05, and the Cocoa Board CEO is also telling us that he has increased it by 70.3, which one should we believe? Now, yesterday on Joy News, my boss, Sami Jemfi, was on air with Fifi Boafo, who is also
he's a PRO of Cocoa Board. Yeah.
Yes. Now, this argument came up, and Fifi Boafo is now telling us that it's not all the cocoa that is sold at the old price, and that there were some of the cocoa they sold at the current price, which is $3,600 per ton. Now, he was challenged to mention the percentage that was sold at 2,600, which is the old cocoa price per ton, and tell us which one they sold for 3,600, which is the current price per ton. And he wasn't able to tell us. So this clearly tells us that there is something fishy ongoing.
But he says there's nothing fishy ongoing.
You don't expect us to believe there is nothing fishy ongoing. The calculation by the president and that of the CEO would have been consistent. However, we are seeing different figures.
Okay.
Per the president's figure and the CEO's figure. Which one are we believing? And you see, it's not just even about the pricing. Under John Mahama, we did a little over 66% for the cocoa farmers. Now, if we use the $3,600 per ton, it is a complete rip-off of the cocoa farmer. It is a total rip-off.
Calculate. How is it? Because if you listen to Mr. Brian Echampo, he's giving you a clear example of how the pricing was done.
We don't believe.
And he says it's not too far away from the actual price at that time, because if you look at it, the farmers were getting $1,800 plus. At the time when it was going for $2,200, at the time they priced it.
No, the farmer never got $1,800. They are currently giving them 1,308 Ghana cedis per bag. They claim they sold the ton at $2,600. But we are telling them that, look, the world market says it is giving $3,600 per ton. So for you to tell us you sold it, and as we speak, they said they sold it at that price so they could go for the syndicated loan. Are you aware the syndicated loan, as we speak, is not in our hands? We don't have the money. So why in a hurry to go and sell the cocoa at that cheap price? You claim you have sold it at 2,600 at the old price, so you could go for a loan. As we speak, the loan is not in our hands. Why then did we go to sell our cocoa at that cheap price? Then yesterday, Sami Jemfi appears on TV with Fifi Boafo. Fifi Boafo is now telling us that it's not everything that is sold at 2,600, and that part of the cocoa, tons of the cocoa, were sold at 3,600, which is the current international market price. Which one are we believing, Bella? Besides, under John Mahama, when we were doing 66% for the cocoa farmer, which is about, we got 475, and we gave the cocoa farmers 475 and took 224. With this 224 Ghana cedis, we built schools to avoid the child labor issue that came up, the international body said that, look, if you are going to involve the children in your farm activities, we are not going to buy the cocoa. John Mahama said, then let me use the 224 that I have taken for operational costs to build a school for the cocoa farmers' children, so that they can go to school instead of following their parents to the cocoa farm. Then again, John Mahama built a solar-powered borehole, 110 of them out of the same money. Then set aside a pension fund, 28 million Ghana cedis for the cocoa farmer. Currently, they've had more, even as we speak. Last year, with the $2,600 dollars per ton, the MPP gave the cocoa farmer 800 Ghana cedis per bag.
Okay.
They gave the cocoa farmer 800 Ghana cedis per bag. This is a complete rip-off, especially as they are not enjoying any of the benefits they are supposed to enjoy as they were enjoying under John Mahama.
Okay.
It is a complete rip-off, and that is our case. And we still don't believe, per their explanations, that they sold it at the old price. Because if indeed they sold it at the old price, they should have one figure and communicate it as such.
Okay.
However, they are having different figures, and it is a cause to doubt the figures they are putting out.
Okay, no problem. Well, this wasn't supposed to be the topic. We need to just speak to Honorable Brian Acheampong. And I'm not sure you'd want to speak on this, would you?
What do I have to say? All I'm saying is that let the cocoa farmers get what is due them. All these arguments, all this disparity of prices, arguing on their heads, they are key to our economy. And the products that they cultivate is one of our highest exchange rate earners. But my issue is that every day we are talking about cocoa, pricing cocoa. What are we doing with our cocoa, Bella? Are we still exporting this cocoa in its raw form? What value are we adding to our cocoa? It would be of great essence to the farmers if actually we're able to export processed cocoa in all the products that they're in. Every coast right now, they've noticed that exporting raw cocoa is not going to help them. Exporting raw cocoa is not going to help them. So they are making efforts to do what? To export in a processed form. Every time we talk about pricing, we talk about incentives, we talk about implements. When the minister was speaking, he was, talking more, explaining the issues and all the ramifications of it, talking about hedging, future pricing, forward-looking pricing and all that. But is that what it is? I remember when we were young, there was this cocoa scholarship for the children whose parents were cocoa farmers. And at the end of the day, what really happened? You find out that even the scholarship was going to people who could pay their fees, their wards fees. And the children of the cocoa farmers themselves were not benefiting from it. So we even believe that there should be a ministry for cocoa.
A whole ministry set up
for cocoa? Yes, for cocoa. Instead of putting it under the Ministry of Agriculture.
Then other sectors will also say that they want a whole ministry for them.
Cocoa is a big one. We have a ministry for mineral mines and mineral resources. Why didn't we put it under the Ministry of Environment and say that minerals are is part of the environment, it's in the soil. It impacts on the environment, so let's put it there. There's the Ministry of Minerals and Natural Resources. So there should be because cocoa is a big thing. Do you get me? Apart from every year, all we do is just to, increase prices for them against the FOB price, against how much it is on the world market. We need to do more for cocoa farmers. Okay. We need to do more for the product itself. because we have cocoa processing company, we have the produce buying company. Their cocoa processing company is just existing on a skeleton. Meanwhile, the demand for the Ghana chocolate is so high, they cannot even supply it. They have very good medicinal products like the dark cocoa that, I mean, we drink. But we are not even marketing it properly even within, let alone do it outside there.
Okay.
Switzerland has chocolate, but their chocolate is not like ours. They want our chocolate. Why don't we create the market for us to produce the chocolate here and export? When you add value, you get more money than just sending the product in its raw state. Do you understand? And I also don't know why government always politicizing, not only one government, they all politicize the increases in the prices for the farmers. It is your responsibility, because you are going to sell it to the world market, and whatever markup on it that is for the operational cost, you are going to, it's coming to you as a government. Do you get me?
Yeah.
And you have to use whatever money that you get out of your sale to industrialize the nation, to bring in manufacturing companies and do all that development projects. So why is it always a fanfare when there is an increase in cocoa prices? There shouldn't be. It's a responsibility. If you pay your child's school fees, do you always go around with the receipt? No. It's a responsibility.
All right. Well, joining us in the studios this morning is Frances Esiam. She's the former CEO of the Ghana Cylinder Manufacturing Company. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, Bella.
Thank you for joining us. How are you doing?
I'm fine.
But I told you she will come on.
How are you? No, I was given very late notice.
Oh.
I was from another station yesterday. I mean, it was about 7 p.m.-ish. You know, at 65.
Yeah.
I don't joke with my sleep.
And we all know that you are 65.
No, I always have to accentuate it.
I always
Bella,
accentuate it.
Good morning. This morning, I heard you talking about my credibility on leaving the NDC. It's simple. I was whipped with a bazan. I normally don't like going back to that issue. So I just want to clear the air.
Okay.
I was whipped. Soundly whipped. All my back. I heard again there, I think Nana Komia were in Metro Studios. Sorry to mention Metro. And I was whipped with the barazim. My head was bashed. You know, I was seeing stars. I nearly died. Thanks to Colonel Asasi Jima, Honorable Lawyer Kwekuba, and the Honorable Okaija Adamafio, and Auntie B. Newman, one of the stalwarts of the 31st movement, Auntie B. Lebenamingabo, and then, you know, Nijon Coleman, who had to fire gunshots before I was left free. When I say free, before the assailants, Azoka and his boys took off. And so far, Azoka apologized to me much later. Madam, because when I get to Tamale, it's they come like a motorcade, you know, from the airport to go and do programs. So, I mean, there are parliament and, you know, there are people out in so I said, Madam, it be order from on high. So yesterday I was saying that's how politics is. If you look at it and you can't stand it, you leave. But as a political animal, one has to fit himself. So it belongs to the past.
No.
I would have been a non-living statistic by now. Maybe my children celebrating some, since 2005, celebrating some, what do you call it? Some 18th anniversary. And all girls. Today I have a doctor degree, I have a nurse degree, a human, what do you call it? Resource personnel degree. I have a, you know, what do you call it? A graphic designer degree.
Oh, okay.
And they
all girls.
All girls.
I see.
And I have one in the law school, the 5th.
Okay.
And the last one is a fashion designer with a degree from Tech.
I see.
High class fashion.
So 6 girls.
Yeah, and 5 grandchildren.
Oh wow.
And still counting.
Well, thank God for your life.
So good morning for good morning for the viewers. So I just want to, as a consultant, my credibility is very, very important.
Indeed.
Yeah. So that's it. So I won't go too far.
No problem.
I heard
totally
you talking about cocoa politics. And I think that wasn't
Bella,
really...
that is not the
That's not the plan.
I know,
that's not the plan. But to be fair,
yes,
yeah,
we
I'll
allowed
just-
both of you to
2
touch on it.
seconds.
So just touch
2
on it
seconds.
briefly.
You see, we've always done cocoa politics from the CPP days under Dr. Nkrumah till now. Why? You see, we were ushered into a Republican rule from colonial rule. So you must know that whatever government does, it's always been publicized, because government good governance practices, one of them is to make sure that they use our resources, our natural resources, very, very well. I'm talking of, turning over for the good of the people. And if for a long time now, some appreciable increment has come, it is something, we are not talking of a celebration, but government must announce it for the people of Ghana to be aware, because we are in times of unbridled social media comments where people can just get up and say anything. And look at the situation we are in West Africa. So any good bit of news, is very, very essential to keep the cohesion, the peace, and the harmony. So when you get up and you hear something good, it actually eases tensions a little.
Okay.
And
this is good.
And this is good news.
The new pricing is good?
It's good news.
Okay.
Because you see, right now we have so many local chocolate factories, some around Suwon, some around where I stay. I'm talking of Frafraha Upway, almost towards the Dodowa Road, and so on. Today, when you travel, you look through duty free, you see how they've packaged the Ghana chocolate. The last time I bought some, when I was going to Germany, 35 euro at our duty free here. And when I went, everybody was excited about it. And it was simple because I didn't take the usual Introba and Shito and things. I took Ghana chocolates. And the African shops too are doing marvelously well. But like Nana was saying, I think the added value, we ourselves here, we consume chocolates from other countries in our supermarkets more than we consume our golden tree. So I think the cocoa day, you go for so many conferences and programs in-house, and you realize that you can't even get what you call the bitter cocoa. Do you get my point? You get all sorts of coffee and things. So I think it is a good step.
Okay.
The farmers are happy. It may not be the expected height, but I think it's good for us to keep our farmers going and repairing to dim the galamsey to a little.
We do hope so.
Yeah, we hope so.
We hope so.
Okay, so thank you.
Thank you so much again for joining us. And let's get into our first major conversation for today. This was just by the way, even though it's taking a bit of our time. But we're going to talk about the limited voter registration. And of course, the EC still going ahead with it, even though there were some injunctions that had been placed on it. It's day 3, and we want to get some updates. And so shortly, we'll cross over to the northern region. Our correspondent Chris will give us some updates on that. But the NDC is not too happy. Of course, aside the fact that some of the machines were faulty at some of the centers, they think that, and they're alleging that the EC deliberately took these faulty machines to their strongholds, which is why, some challenges are being faced at the moment. Because they say that if you look at the number of challenges that are being faced across the various districts, you cannot even count 2 of them or more that belong to the strongholds of the NPP, unlike the NDC. I'll go to Aisha to speak on this first of all. Do you think, or based on what your boss is saying as well, do you think that there's a deliberate attempt to sort of limit maybe people who also tilt more towards the NDC to get their voters registers card?
Bella, this whole issue of continuous voters registration, limited voters registration didn't start from here. To begin with, yes, I believe there is an agenda to suppress votes. Look, and I am not surprised, and I don't think all Ghanaians who have followed how this government operates are surprised. We all saw how Charlotte Osei, the former EC, was ousted out of office. It was a roadmap to pursue this agenda we are seeing today.
Based on your deduction?
Based on my deduction and every discerning Ghanaian, Charlotte Osei was ousted. Then came in Jean Mensa. Now, we have decided to boycott IPAC. Because the NDC, we don't see the need. We don't see the need for going to the IPAC meetings, deliberate on issues, and the EC now will come out and do what she likes, what they like. You see, the IPAC meeting was set up for parties to come together, deliberate on electoral issues, then come to a consensus as to the way forward. That would inure to everybody's benefit. That would be satisfactory for every political party. It's the reason for the formation of the IPAC. So the PNC, the CPP, the LPG, the GPCC, they have gone for their IPAC meeting. The EC boss says, I want to use the 250 district offices for the limited registration. The party says, no. Using the 250 district will not be convenient for us. So use the 1,500 polling stations you used previously. Electoral centers previously. Then it will be convenient for all of us. They met the two deputies, Srebo Kweku and Bosman Asari.
Yeah.
They said, yes, we've heard you. We are going to sit down and think about this. We'll get back to you on the issue. They wake up the following morning, and the EC boss, who wasn't part of the meeting, has gone ahead to announce a date for the limited registration without addressing their issue. What then is the essence of the IPAC meeting? If they have to go talk, come to a common grounds, then the EC will tilt away from whatever decision they've taken and take her own decision. What then is the essence of the IPAC meeting? So fast forward, Monday, this registration has begun. And we are hearing a whole lot of complaints. The same complaints those political parties raised are here facing us. The distance between communities and the district offices within the same constituency. Imagine somebody moving from Mpakadan to Atimpoku. Yesterday, I was listening to one of your sister stations, and the complaint from Pru East is that they had to spend about 100 Ghana cedis to move from Domiabra to the district office. And mind you, this person is going with 2 guarantors. She alone is spending 100 cedis. The 2 guarantors are going to spend 100 cedis each, making 300 Ghana cedis. Who is going to foot that cost? How are they going to foot that cost? Is that not a way of disenfranchising the eligible Ghanaian? The Ghanaian who is qualified to vote at 18. Is that not a way of trying to suppress votes? Because if I don't get the money to move from Domiabra to Atimpoku to register, it means I've been disenfranchised. And the Constitution is clear on this. That the polling centers or the electoral centers should be made accessible. Is it accessible to whoever wants to go and register? Is it accessible? Have we thought of even the disabled? How is the disabled going to get there?
And they have released a statement on this.
There are some communities that people have to cross river. They cross rivers to be able to get to the district centers. The risk involved. Have we thought of all that? And the funny thing about this whole issue is that in 2020, we had a limited registration. We used 1,500 polling centers or electoral centers for the limited registration. 2021, we couldn't do limited registration. 2022, we couldn't do. Now, 2023. That means we have a backlog of 2 years in addition to the 2023 people who have turned 18 in 2023. And now that the people are more, you have decided to reduce the polling centers or electoral centers from 1,500 to only 250 district offices. Madam J. Mensah, what are you up to?
Okay.
We have a cause to believe that you are up to no good. And the youth of Ghanaian, the youth of Ghana, the people of Ghana are going to teach the MPP, that Madam J. Mensah is trying to do everything possible to make sure all this registration and electoral process go in their favor, they will teach them a lesson, because you can't frustrate them this much and expect them to go to the polls and vote for you.
What lesson are you thinking they'll teach them?
They will teach them a lesson by voting for them. Aside from the fact that this economy is whipping them so hard, they are going to teach them a double lesson by telling them that you can't frustrate us on top of the economic mess you have created.
Okay. Well, there are a number of parties that came together to file that injunction against the EC. So it wasn't just the NDC, the CPP, the APC, All People's Congress, Liberal Party of Ghana, LPG, and Great Consolidated People's Party. At least we have the General Secretary for the CPP here. We'll let her speak on why there was a need for the party to also append its signature to this injunction. But let's quickly cross over to the northern region. Our correspondent, Chris, is going to update us on the numbers. You spoke 2 days ago, Chris. Good morning, by the way.
Good morning, Bella.
Thank you so much for joining us. You spoke about 2 days ago, giving us an update on the numbers at the various voting, the district offices and people who had come in to register for their voters' ID cards. The numbers were not too encouraging. Maybe you can run through those numbers again and give us an update on yesterday and whether things had improved as of yesterday.
Yes, so Bella, the numbers hasn't improved anyway, because if you look at day one of the exercise, which was on the 12th, Monday, when the exercise began, some registration centers, for instance, the Sagnargu registration center, which 2 constituencies are registering in that center, that is the Tamale North constituency and the Sagnargu constituency. Only 32 successful applicants went through the process, and even that, it was the offline process because of network challenge. They were unable to register them online. So the whole process that day was frustrating. You go to the Tamale Metro registration center, where Tamale Central and Tamale South are supposed to be registered. Tamale Central, for instance, only 3 people went through the registration process successfully on day one. And for Tamale South, only 9 went through the process, which, according to the applicants and other party agents who were there, it's very frustrating. Day 2 of the exercise also did not go well, because even though the network situation had improved a bit, but the system was slow, so they were unable to register the expected number of people. In fact, no registration center has been able to register 100 applicants yet here in the Tamale Enclave. Now, because of that, even the applicants are not having that motivation to come to the registration center. So it becomes something of the political parties to go and force, in a way, these young ones to come to the registration center to be part of the exercise. So generally, from start of the exercise till today, it has been frustrating. Yesterday, for instance, it was almost midday, like some 8 minutes to midday before Tamale Metro could start the registration process. So, Bella, generally, the process has been frustrating, and the applicants are losing that motivation to go and acquire their voters' ID card.
For Tamale Metro yesterday, what was the reason for the delay in starting?
Okay, so it's generally about the network and the faulty machines. In fact, they have only 2 machines. And if you come to the 4 constituencies in the Tamale Enclave, each of them is expecting to register over 10,000 applicants. So if they were able to register, for instance, 16 and 3, then it means that with a 21-day grace period, they cannot register even up to 1,000. And so it is a matter of concern to the political parties and the applicants who come there. In fact, the EC machines, as we speak, they didn't even function at all. And they too, it started functioning, but it was very slow. But for Tamale Metro, it did not even function until almost midday when it started, and they registered a few, then it broke down again. So, Bella, it's very frustrating here at the registration centers. But before you brought me on, one of your panelists was talking about the cost of transportation from one end to the other end. It is very serious here, because there are certain areas that you have to cross other regions before you go to your registration center. Some pay as much as 140, 150 Ghana cedis before they are able to get to their registration center. So that's coupled with the poor network and faulty EC machines and delays in getting even to the registration center is making the entire process frustrating.
All right. Well, Christopher, thank you so much for speaking to us this morning and updating us on the situation on ground in the Northern and Savannah regions. And he's our correspondent, of course, here at Media General. Nana, let me come to you. And like I mentioned, the CPP is also one of the 5 political parties that have filed this injunction. Unfortunately, we're told that the hearing has been set for the 17th of October. And that's like a week or two after the end of this limited registration process. So clearly, doesn't look like there's going to be a hearing for you to even know exactly what to be done. And EC has not pulled the brakes on the registration. How do you feel about that as a party?
Bella, thank you. This morning, let me send greetings to Anekwi Avle of the NDC. And let me send greetings to my friend Abdul Latif Dan, MP for Ablekuma Central, and all your viewers and my CPP comrades. And greetings to my brother Kwame. Kwame, haven't seen you in a while. Please get in touch. And greetings to everybody here. My sisters, you. You see, I'm very sad. Whatever your reporter in the northern region is talking about is the same reason why we as parties decided to let the courts, we don't have the capacity, let the courts put a brake on this limited registration. Ghanaians should not be disenfranchised. I am surprised he didn't even talk about the disabled, how they are managing to get to the district offices. When Asha was speaking, she was talking about the fact that people have to commute. And in 2019, centers, 1,500 centers were set up in the electoral areas and all that. For somebody to travel just to write their name in a register to pay 140 in and out is a lot of money. And even if you are going with your guarantor, then you are doing about 400 Ghana cedis. When you go there and the machine is broken down, you have to go and come back. People have to go through like areas, vast areas like the northern part of Ghana. If you look at the Savannah region, they are not populated, but they are vast. They can't hear you well. They are not populated, but they are vast. And they span across other, regions. So it is a lot of work. And Bella, you see, last week or this week, Monday, I was talking to somebody. I was talking to one Prophet Ernesto Bain, good morning. And I asked him, where is your district? He is in the constituency of Honorable Adjosafo. So I asked, where is the EC district office here? He, who he is, couldn't even tell me.
He doesn't know his district office?
EC district office.
Sorry.
EC district office. How many people even know the district office? And look at the picture that we are seeing here. The district office is so small. How many can they register at a time? Did you get me? How many people are they going to register at a time? So this is the reason why we also agreed to be part of the suite, so that for Ghanaians, that somebody should stand up for Ghanaians for now. Somebody should speak for us, for Ghanaians, and that is why we of the CPP are saying that we'll be part of it and make sure that Ghanaians. I'm sad because it's as if this government does not think about Ghana. When you talk about it, they tell you that the EC is independent. They tell you that the EC is independent, but if an independent institution is not doing something, I am even surprised at the 275 parliamentarians.
You were expecting them to speak up?
To even call they are able. If government is not, and the EC is independent, the government cannot interfere. The legislature can, because the legislature is the one that created the law for the EC to come into place. You get it? When I was in the PRC as an independent institution didn't deal with government, but we dealt with Parliament. We dealt with the Select Committee on Energy. So they can also call them to. I am surprised that they haven't called the EC to Parliament to answer questions, because clearly, for whatever is happening on the ground, it shows that the EC is not ready. How then do you say that you are doing an online registration, but because of faulty machines, you can register people offline? And that is where all the problems will come in. The manipulation will come in. And when people start, a political party starts complaining, then it becomes like we are also always attacking the EC. For me, I always say that wherever there is a woman, it is beautiful. So you will not find me unnecessarily, talking about or condemning a woman in a certain position. And for that, I have stayed clear of condemning Jane Mensah. Because I want to repeat, wherever there is a woman in a certain position, it is beautiful. No matter what, I look at the strength of that woman instead of the flaws. But this one does not sit well. This one is not good enough. Because you are dealing with Ghanaians, you are dealing with political parties. We met. We said that if you do this in the district offices, you are going to disenfranchise Ghanaians and these young people who must be part of the electoral process. So let's sit down and discuss and see how we can do this. You are going to finish this thing, I think, somewhere 2nd of October.
Yes.
But the
Hearing.
The
hearing is on the 17th.
That is even on that one is in court. But the district level elections, that is pushing you to do this, is in December.
Yeah.
So couldn't you just, let's sit down and discuss this and push this limited registration a little bit further? Do you understand? So that all these issues surrounding it will be dealt with. Because clearly they are not ready. Machines are not working. People are not able to get to the district centers. I saw you did a news program, a news story on your, I think 2 days ago. And it was so sad, parents complaining. The communities beyond the Volta River, they were complaining that they cannot move, even because of the rains. They cannot move. And nobody cares about it. You see, Bella, they are now using the old CI, which gives room for you to bring a guarantor. The issue is that you are talking about when you do it in the communities, in the electoral areas, there's abuse. So in the district office, you will be able to control. Please, the people sitting there, do they look like people who are ready to control? What do they know? If I come with somebody and I say, this is Amma, they don't even know me. Do you get me? But in the communities, if somebody is bringing up Amma who is 16 years and you have good monitoring system, you know that Amma is not 18. It will be abused in the district office more than within the electoral areas and communities, but they know themselves. So as you go for, somebody can even charge about you are not 18. Why are you registering? But the district office, who knows the person sitting in front of them?
Okay.
They do not know. Bella, another thing, they are also going to create Goro boys.
How so?
Yes, because if I bring a guarantor and I'm, especially with what is happening, I'm unable to register. When I'm coming back again, I'm not bringing that guarantor because I cannot pay. Then very soon, people are going to make businesses out of this. They are going to mail around the district offices. These district officers who are registering the people are inside. They don't know what is going out there. So then they will come as guarantors and get paid. Then eventually, nobody will bring a guarantor anymore. And if you are using a guarantor, it means you don't have a Ghana card. You don't have a passport. And it is possible most people do not have it. But you see, it should not be like, look at what is happening in Tamale. It should not be like it's because of somebody, it is not my stronghold, that is why it is happening. No, it should not be.
Okay.
The EC, I believe that the EC should put a stop. They should put a stop on the registration.
They've already started. You want them to halt it?
Yeah, they can't. Why can't they? Nothing cannot be halted.
Somebody has filed this, has sued
them, yes.
Do you get me? Look, let's not play God here.
So they should stop it.
They should hold
And listen to your concerns.
And listen to because we are not the only people speaking. Most Ghanaians are speaking. Now it is practical. The challenges we were talking about has come to the fore.
Okay.
Do you get? So it means that as if the government doesn't care about Ghanaians. Whether we don't care. We don't care what you go and register, whether you can register or not. It's none of our business.
Is it really governmental? Because again, we're establishing the fact that the EC is an independent institution. Let me bring Madam Frances in.
Who gives EC money to?
Let me bring Madam Frances in so she can speak, because she is here on behalf of government.
No, come and worry, Madam Frances. She's not part of EC.
She's not part of who?
EC business.
Well, yes, but she's here representing the NPP. Now the consent, please allow her to speak.
Why am I not part of EC?
Are you part of EC business?
Why are we not part?
But you said it's independent. It's government.
Who said?
They are not. You are not.
Okay, Madam
not.
Frances, if you listen to what the journalist, our correspondent, is saying, clearly these concerns are very, legitimate. Exactly. And so if you look at that and you look at all the concerns that were raised, even in the injunction that was filed by these 5 political parties, it's clearly stated there that to an extent it was going to disenfranchise a lot of voters. How is it then that the EC still went ahead with it, knowing very well that some of their machines may not even work? The offices are limited, and so people will definitely complain about transport fare, having to cross the river to go and register, all those concerns. So that means that we're limiting the number of people who can actually register, and that goes against the law.
Well, I think they're straightforward. At times we whine and whine and whine. Instead of pushing for reforms in time to avert some of these lapses. The EC strictly is a constitutional buffer institution. So you really don't interfere with what they do. But Parliament is there to see to that resourcing. Parliament is there to ensure that the various CIs, airlines, and so on are laid within the remit of the law to make state institutions work in the interest of people and country. Having said that, this current situation is not new. We knew the EC went along with electoral areas, and it was extremely successful. All we are saying, people have spoken, complaints are genuine. But you see, in an exercise of this nature, when the complaints come up, then it's time to what? Look at them. But it is not, you see, EC is a state institution, but it's a buffer institution. The matter has gone to court. I even didn't think it would go that far, because for me, IPAC is a good forum as an advisory body to somehow, instead of being antagonistic, Giorgio, it's not a question of whether they listen or they didn't. No, it's not a question of whether they listen or not. You see, it's the Giorgio.
Okay.
But when the atmosphere is too confrontational, what are the problems? No, please. What are the problems of the EC? Is it a matter of resource? We're talking of old machines here. As for the distances, if you go to Ashanti region, which is the NPP stronghold, the same issues are being felt there. Talk to your correspondents there.
Yeah.
So this fallacious issue of somebody's stronghold, no, where is a stronghold in Ghana today? Well, if you combine all the northern regions, when I talk of the northern regions, from Savannah, when you combine all of them, NPP has 16 and NDC has 15. So we can even say right now the north is our stronghold, because we surpassed them with 1 seat. So all we're saying is that Ajubrel, the matter is in court, but the EC has to continue, so that you see, it's like if you're going to do the mop-up, definitely the extensions will come in, because it's being done for the people.
Okay.
It's not being done in the air.
But money is being spent.
No, the point is that...
Shouldn't we rather halt it and save that money and do it properly?
See, my point is that people have genuine difficulty. So those coming from afar can't be given the assurance. That's what I'm saying. Parliament must come in, call the EC, to, it's not only at the plenary, but at the committee level. What are the difficulties? Parliament will all sit down for people to complain and complain and complain. One of your duty is to call them to the committee level and ask them what are the issues, because you are representatives of the people. What are the issues? No political party is satisfied with its members. Look at the regions.
Yeah.
MPs, aspirants, incumbents, pulling people in and out. And you know we're all against this busing thing because it creates problems.
Monetization.
Busing creates problems. And you may even have political violence coming out of this situation. So I'm saying that Parliament can do what? Call the EC and listen to them, and they can really compel them. I'm not saying force, but really there can be some compelling circumstance where at that level they may have to resort to the electoral area thing where everybody feels comfortable with, because most constituents go to funerals, meetings, weddings within their areas of residence. So if it's closer within the electoral area, it's better.
Okay.
We are not saying decentralized to the point of going to everybody's hamlet.
Of course, that's not what they're asking for. But they're saying that take it back to the 1,500.
It's been done before, so it can be done again. And I will also say that the insults, you see, you can do the critique without necessarily insulting.
Who is insulting them?
No, I'm saying I'm talking about insults. Because if I'm talking about insults, because we've heard some people really insulting. And if I may quote former President Mahama, the use of accusations, including unprintable insults, held at the person of the EC chair has become normal. So I believe this applies to all EC chairs. This is unacceptable, but as students of politics, we can see the strategy behind it. Vilify the credibility of the referee in the eyes of the public when you can tell you are losing the match. This creates a platform where when you lose, you can discredit and contest the outcome of the match. This is the underlying force for the whining. That's why I use the word whining.
Okay.
For the whining that has taken place against the EC chair. Reference His Excellency John Mahama at the NDC National Campaign launch at the Cape Coast Stadium. And I think this advice transcends all time. Whether it was President John Mahama who said it, whether it was President Ejekum Kufuor, whether it was the late President Mills, former President Raleigh, whoever said it, is germane today as it was yesterday. So the personalization or hitting below the belt should be put. Then let's look at EC as an institution, which is carrying out an obligatory exercise on behalf of the state. And once it's a state institution, I look for solutions. Parliament, the agency with which they've called the Kokonsa probe.
You call that the Kokonsa probe?
Of course, I will come to it. The agency with which they've called the Kokonsa probe with whipping willows and all those things, making a pantomime of the internal security agency, the most important. Making a pantomime, heads are being knocked, everybody distracted. So I'm saying that let them call the EC immediately.
Okay.
The matter is at court, and rightly so. It is the democratic right of any political party to go to court.
Yeah.
And I think we'll get the binding precedent. For me, that's why it's very important that the courts also deal with this. But let the exercise go so that as many people as possible who, it's unfortunate, looking at the distances and so on, but I think the political parties too, some of us are also doing our best to ensure that we take people there. But to halt the exercise completely, you can look at areas. You see, when you come to the suburban and urban areas, and you leave the periphery, you can even do some zonal things so that, for instance, in Greater Accra, it's a bit easier. It's a bit easier moving from one place to the other.
Yeah.
Maybe in Greater Kumasi, I'm not talking of Ashanti as well, but in Greater Kumasi, you may be able to move to the district easier. So it can go on in areas where it is possible to continue. But to halt the total exercise, where the difficulties of people moving from, let's say, if in Tamale, for example, you have to come from the peripheral outskirts to Tamale. Those areas can genuinely be halted.
Okay.
But to save time, those within the suburban and urban areas can continue.
But is the EC not operating on double standards? And
No,
I'll take you back to May.
I'm
when
giving
that
a recommendation.
Okay.
I'm not saying they're doing so, but I'm saying to hold the total exercise. Where machines are working, where it is easier for people to go to the district center until probably the electoral areas come on, which I believe eventually it will come on. Because the government cannot get, when we talk of government, let me say the executive or the presidency, because when we say government, all of us are government. And it's not in this, every government institution who can get up and go and talk to the EC. So we're saying that the presidency, for instance, being the embodiment of the executive, cannot call the EC boss or cannot, you know, but through Parliament.
they
Through
should
Parliament.
invite the EC boss.
They should invite the EC.
Okay.
I'm not talking of the boss. I said they should invite the Electoral Commission.
Okay.
And implore upon them that immediately, please go back to the electoral area system or the basic system which can assist people to come and register without, what do you call it, too much difficulty.
Okay, but
Number two, the
hold on. Let me just ask this, because again, could the EC have held off this exercise in the first place when these injunctions were placed on them? Because you go back to May when the NDC presidential and parliamentary primaries were going to be held, and Dr. Dufour filed an injunction. The EC decided to hold on to the supervision of the exercise, and they were very categorical because they said they didn't want to be cited for contempt.
Agreed.
How different is this? Because an injunction was filed again. They could have been cited for contempt, or they could be cited
I'm
for
saying
contempt,
that
but they still went ahead. They still went ahead to carry on with the exercise.
No, an injunction has been
Filed,
made against
yes.
the EC. Has it been granted? Has a ruling been given? If it's been given, they should go and cite them for contempt of court.
Okay.
That, you see, when you live within the rule of law, you use the law to correct situations, and then we're going to have the binding precedents. I mean, that is what I'm so much interested in, so that tomorrow anybody, because commissioners will come and go when their time is due, they will look at what had transpired.
Okay.
And this will not be a parliamentary amendment where the issue so probably didn't suit us. A parliament cannot even amend anything. So you let the processes go on. But all I'm saying is that within the suburban and urban areas, you know, to also save time, halting the process completely, I don't know what it will do in Greater Accra.
Okay.
Greater Kumako, the numbers, Bella, in some of these populous regions in the south, it is unbelievable.
Yes, it is.
You may have 4 million here, and we have about 2 years backlog. But my point is that with these machines, you know, EC has had to go to Nigeria, pick machines at a certain time. So if it's resourcing them properly, fine. But I believe that, you see, IPAC, it's a very useful instrument. So I think IPAC must be streamlined so that both the advisory, political party grouping, and the EC don't see themselves as antagonists.
But that's what Anaya was saying, that she doesn't see that even happening.
I want to come
I'm
in.
saying,
She
I'm not
doesn't
making
see-
my recommendation.
because she's usually at the
I'm not asking
IPAC
for
meetings.
anybody's opinion.
Okay.
Please. I'm making my recommendation that it takes two to tango. Whatever it is, the commission has done something, and it is not popular with everybody. Please, are you getting my point? For me sitting here, how will I want my auntie in a village somewhere, like Bososo, to move all the way in the eastern region to maybe Begro or somewhere? Do you get my point?
Okay.
So all I'm saying is that let us look at how the court case will go because of binding precedents,
Okay.
so that we set the system in a certain, you know, framework.
Noted.
But finally, all I'm saying is that IPAC and the EC, you see, if you have that antagonistic stance, then it's as if take my own. I won't take it because I'm a buffer institution. You can't tell me what to do.
Are you referring to NDC? Because they are the ones who have said that they will not attend IPAC meetings. But,
My sister,
but ma'am,
you
please
see-
end for me so that
No, I'm saying that
they can come
I'm
in.
not interested in NDC any statement. It's a political party. It can choose to say what it wants and what to do. That is not my business. My business is that the EC must be positioned.
Okay.
It must position itself in such a manner so that the needed confidence
will be restored.
That has to be restored. Is restored among the rank and file.
All right, thank
especially
you.
the grassroots.
Thank you.
But
Actually, I'll let you
I
come in
really
shortly,
don't
but
care
let
what the
Nanaya
people
respond to this
say.
IPAC statement.
Bella, there's no antagonism here. Do you get me?
Okay.
Because especially people should pay attention when you realize that we, the other political parties, are also part of it, part of the switch, part of the resistance. This one is not just the NDC and they have their own issues. We've been saying that they should come to IPAC, and we are even saying that you are not there, so why do you even talk about it? So the point is that there is no antagonism. We put systems in place. First time we had a meeting, we spoke about it. The second time we did a press conference to bring some presence to the matter. Then the third time, we actually wrote a letter. I even told the team that what we did as a press conference is hearsay. So let's do a letter to EC that we want to meet them and have a meeting to discuss all these issues. We sent the letter. I called the EC. I actually called Dr. Stable that we have sent a letter to you that we want a meeting. Nobody even came back to us.
You called Dr. Strebo?
Yes, I did.
And what did he say when you called?
Oh, he said he will check.
Okay.
And he will get back to me. And I told the team that, Dr. Strebo is working on it. So all of us, we should have patience.
When was this?
Oh, somewhere last week, 2 weeks ago. I said, we should have patience. All of us should have patience. They are working on it for us to meet. And nobody even called us. All we heard was that they have started. So, so nobody's antagonistic. We put in place all the measures. And none of us are happy. Even the MPP as IPAC, they were not happy. None of us are happy about what is going on. So if none of us are happy about what is going on, you can't just hold. You see, the point is that this issue, it is not only about distances. It is about logistical support from the EC. It is clear that there is a problem with logistical support, especially with their machines. Number two, cost of movement is key. It does not matter whether it is in the urban or it's in the peripheral. Cost, even in the urban, the cost of movement is more expensive. So if in the peripheral they are doing 140 cedis as in the north to move, how much will it be in the urban? So if the center is close to me, I am more I want to go and register than if it is far away. There is no incentive for me to move all the way to go and register with all the risk and the money. So if I say that it should be halted, it is because all these things must be looked at. How many days are they using to do this registration? About 2 weeks.
About 2 weeks, yeah.
So if it is halted, if it starts in the middle of October, by end of October, they are done. And everybody is okay, because if you are going to use 2 weeks to register 1.5 million people, and by your own statistics and data, you know that you can do it in 2 weeks. We are not even in October. So if you halt it for maybe a week, and let's look at all the issues surrounding this matter for the sake of Ghanaians. Okay. Because you see, when Dr. Bosman was speaking on radio, he said that by per their own research, they are sure they will reach 80%. What about it? Granted that this statistics is true, that you can reach only 80% of the people who are supposed to register in the limited registration exercise, then the 20%, what happens to them?
Aisha, so at this point, and I want to verify, because has the injunction been granted?
Yes,
it has been granted.
And as we speak, the EC is even frustrating the process, the contempt process.
How is the EC frustrating the process?
Yes, because the security men at the EC office are preventing the bailiff from reaching out to the
maybe
EC. Yes, this is a private. No, a private. It's not what the political parties.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
This is a private citizen who has filed a suit against the EC. It has been granted, and now the EC has been cited for contempt. They want to serve the EC, and they are frustrating the whole process. Today, I'm sure one of your sister stations would move there and see how the serving is going to go. It's going to become a topical issue, I think. And so, you see, this whole thing, you see, before we come out and accuse the EC of anything, it depends on how the EC has conducted itself.
Okay.
And we are trying to rope in government, and we are justified to do so, because we sat here in this country and saw how President Nana Addo We saw how Nana Addo recruited known MPP apparatchiks into the Electoral Commission. MPP propagandists who go on TV and radio and speak for the party were given appointments as IT specialists at the Electoral Commission. Bosman Asari, who we knew to be a TESCOM patron, was given an appointment as a deputy electoral commissioner. So today, if we sit here and we say the Electoral Commission is doing everything possible in favor of the sitting government, we have a reason for saying that. There is a reason for saying that. And I can also go ahead and say that the Electoral Commission as an institution is in bed with the judiciary. Why am I saying it's in bed with the judiciary? The judiciary, like you stated, when at the NDC was having its internal election, Kwabena Duffuor injuncted the elections. Quickly, the EC came out and said, because it has been injuncted, I'm not going to go on with the elections. This same EC is facing an injunction. And what has it done? It has called the bluff of the court. It has gone ahead to carry out the registration process. And as for the political parties, they decided to file a suit. Now they were told that the CJ is not even around to give them a date. And none of her deputies can even act in her stead.
They can't do that.
Very unusual, because we know that if the CJ is not around, if he has traveled, he didn't travel with the whole institution. He traveled leaving behind deputies, delegated. She delegated some powers. That's why she has deputies.
Okay. Please land
so
for me.
Why can't they act in her stead? Now the CJ comes, and we are being told that the hearing will be on the 17th, by which time the registration process is far, far over.
Okay.
Bella, what are we doing? And you expect us to sit back and think all is well? This is a well-orchestrated plan to disenfranchise and frustrate Ghanaians. And you know what? At the end of the day, if all the electoral processes see low turnout, we are going to conclude that, oh, then we've exhausted the number of people we want to register. And that people are not even coming to the district offices. It's not that people are coming to the district offices
when the time is right.
No, that's what. Yes, that's what.
I'm saying. Let's leave them to make that statement. Let's not presume that that's what.
No, we have to presume, because that's what is likely to happen.
Okay.
And it wouldn't be about that. It's going to be because the people haven't gotten money to move to the registration centers.
Thank you.
It's not going to be because they've exhausted the registration.
Thank you, Aisha. Thank you. Hi, Bella. This is Nane here. Please, yesterday I went with my 2 girls to the EC district office to register. Our first challenge was trying to locate the district office. It took us 45 minutes to locate the office. We arrived there and the entire place was crowded so badly. Eventually, we were told to go back and return today. This morning, my girls have refused to go, claiming they can't go through the stress. Why is this EC not listening? Lots of people are being disenfranchised. This is total disrespect for the ordinary Ghanaian. Unfortunately, my time is up. We have to go.
Bella,
we have to go.
But,
my director is counting me down in 30 seconds, unfortunately.
All I'm saying is that let us have respect for the judiciary. It is the Chief Justice who does the paneling. Constitutionally, it's not her deputy who empanels judges to listen to cases. And she had every reason to go on her official trip. So when cases go there, the registrar, please, I'm not talking to you. The registrar will do what? Give the date and times. After consultation with the judicial secretary. Number 2, find out whether the injunction has been properly served. From what I'm hearing about people going, I think Honorable Okujeto soon. At the end of the day, the court said it didn't qualify for contempt. And finally, let us know that when we are bastardizing institutions of states, we have a right to say what we want to say. We should be very careful. There are no orchestrations anywhere. We've been through revolutions. The Fourth Republic is here, and it is here to stay.
All right. Thank you so much. Madam Frances Essiem is the former CEO of the Ghana Cylinder Manufacturing Company. Nanaya Chimpim Janto is the General Secretary for the CPP, and Aisha Alasan is a National Communications Team member for the NDC. Let's cash out now. You could win some 1,000 Ghana cedis this morning. In fact, 4 people are winning 1,000 Ghana cedis each, and it could be you. Have you played the game yet? *439#, select option 2, and voila, you get to win. Let's count down now and see which number is going to win. So 3, 2, 1, here we go. And if it stops on your number, then you are the lucky one. So 0548626 ****. You're very lucky this morning. You're winning 1,000 Ghana cedis. Let's play one more before we wrap up on this segment. So here we go. 3, 2, 1, and stop. Okay. So lucky you as well. 0550133 ****. You've also won for yourself 1,000 Ghana cedis. Congratulations. 2,000 Ghana cedis given out this morning. 2 more people to win as well. So make sure you play the game *439#, and remember to select option 2. Thank you so much, ladies, for joining me on the show. New Day continues. We have more coming up, so don't go anywhere. We have entertainment and a conversation on education right here on the show.